Welcome viewers, welcome to the new lesson from Dr. R's Biology. Press on the subscribe button and bell icon to receive notification on my new videos. In this lesson, we are going to learn about salient features of phylum Annelida. In addition to the salient features, we also have to learn about the features of Nereis, earthworm, and about vermiculture plus leech. Now let us see the characters of phylum Annelida. The first one, annelids are mostly aquatic in nature. They can exist in marine as well as freshwater habitat. Some of the annelids can be seen on the terrestrial environment too, and they are burrowing or living in tubes. Annelids enjoy sedentary or free-living mode of life. Sedentary means the organism which stick to a surface and which are not moving. Annelids also show association with other organisms in the form of commensalism and the parasitism. The term parasitism we are familiar, where the organism depends on other organism and harm the other organism without killing it mostly. But what is meant by the commensalism? Commensalism is the association or relationship between two living organisms in which one organism benefits from the other without harming it. You can see the examples from the slide. In case of the tree frogs enjoy the tree living by getting protection from the tree. Instead, that frog is not giving anything positive back to the plant. The same thing is happening in case of the association between cattle egret and cattle. When the cattle moves, the grasshoppers will be jumping, and that grasshoppers will be the food for the cattle egret. But the cattle is not getting any benefit from the cattle egret. Let us move to the second character. Here, annelids have a triploblastic body condition. The triploblastic body means if there are three germ layers, that means the outer ectoderm, innermost endoderm, and the middle mesoderm. If these three layers are there, the condition is known as the triploblastic condition. So we have also learned about diploblastic condition. The diploblastic condition is the condition where mesoderm is absent. Instead of mesoderm, we can see an undifferentiated mass called mesoglia. You can see in case of the Coelenterata and all. Annelids are bilaterally symmetrical. We know what is meant by the bilateral symmetry. If you can cut the organism into two equal halves through a plane passing through the center, it will be known as the bilateral symmetry. Annelids are also elongated in appearance with a vermiform nature. So you can see here, it's having a long nature along with the worm-like appearance. In this particular slide, I have used a flies figure for representing the bilateral symmetry, but keep in mind that flies belongs to the arthropoda. Now let us see the next character. The third character of phylum Annelida is its body organization. That means its body is metamorphically segmented. If an organism's body is segmented internally as well as externally, the segmentation is known as the metameric segmentation. And each segment in a metameric segmented body is known as the metamer or somate. So you can see in this figure, the outer or external segmentation is characteristic with the groove that is present here. And inner segments or inner segmentation is characteristic with the presence of intersegmental septa. So each metamer is internally separated from one another with the presence of septum. Septum is nothing but a membranous partition between the two segments. So you can clearly see in this figure too. So you can see the septa here, and this is the first somate and second one, and you can see internally the two segments are, or two somates or two metamers are separated with the presence of intersegmental septum. If you hear any noise disturbances, I'm so sorry because it's too rainy outside. I'm not sitting inside my studio, instead inside my room only. I tried my maximum to reduce that noise by closing all the doors and windows. So please cooperate. Let us move to the fourth character. We can see that in case of the Annelida, there is organ system grade of body organization. We know that organ system grade of body organization means there is a clear-cut division of labor within the body physiology. So we can see different systems like nervous system, circulatory system, digestive system, etc. And such pattern is known as the organ system grade of body organization. So we can see here, in case of the Annelida, in most of the cases to describe the general features of Annelida, I have used the earthworm as the model because it's commonly available and you will be more clear about it as you are learning in grade 12. Okay, see here, there is excretory system which is formed of nephridia. There is digestive system which is formed of alimentary canal that is starting from mouth to the anus. And then there is circulatory system which is mainly composed of the dorsal and ventral blood vessels, and there is nervous system which is formed of the nerve cord, etc. So different systems are there to support body's physiology. Therefore, annelids have an organ system grade of body organization. In addition to this feature, we can see that the outermost surface of the body is covered with a cuticle. So it will be secreted by the epidermis, which is underneath or which is below the cuticle and which will be lining the topmost layer of the body wall. Let us move to the next character. The beautiful scenery on your screen is nothing but Lakshadweep. I just visited Lakshadweep along with my wife, and I just clicked this photo on top of a lighthouse in one of the island from Lakshadweep. So it's a nice place to visit. Hope you will visit later. So let us move to the next character. Another interesting feature of Annelida is nothing but the contractile nature of the body wall. Their body wall is contractile because in addition to the outer epidermis, the inner part contains circular and longitudinal muscles. The circular and longitudinal muscles helps the body to contract and relax together. So you can see here, the circular muscles are represented with the form of a circles, that is outermost region, and the longitudinal muscle is actually in the form of line, or in some other cases we will be representing in the form of dot. So due to the presence of outer circular and inner longitudinal muscles, their body wall is contractile in nature. Next character is the appendages. So it is having numerous appendages, but at the same time, we have to keep in mind that annelids have unjointed or unsegmented appendages. So you can see in this figure the two appendages, one for the earthworm and the other for the Nereis. Okay, in case of the earthworm, we can see that the appendage is nothing but the setae. And in case of the Nereis, it is nothing but the parapodium. So the parapodium and setae, you can see in this particular figure, it is unsegmented or unjointed. Normally, we will be using chaetae, the term chaetae also for the setae. But in our case, we are generally using setae for the earthworm and chaetae for this bristle-like structure in case of the parapodium. So let us move to the next character. In this slide, let us see different systems that is present in case of the Annelida. So let us see the locomotory system. The locomotory system is formed of segmentally arranged paired setae or chaetae in most of the cases, although most of the organisms. You can see here, this is the case of earthworm and all, the setae is present. So the single word is known as a seta, and this setae, if any damage happens to this particular setae, the formative cells that you can see here in this part will be replacing that setae which is lost. And the same way, the chaetae, as I told you before, generally we are using it for the parapodium. So you can see that this bristle-like structure, which is actually chitinous, is the chaetae, and chaetae also helps in the locomotion. So setae and chaetae are the locomotory structures which are segmentally arranged in case of the Annelida. So let us see the next system, that is the coelom. So we can see that it is a true coelom organism. Okay, this is a coelomate organism So in this case, in case of the Annelida, you can see the presence of true schistoscellus coelom. So there is a confusion what is meant by the schistoscellus coelom. There are mainly two types of coelom, enterocoelus and the schistoscellus. You can see in this figure. So this case is the schistoscellus coelom, where some cells are escaping from the ectoderm and that will be occupying this place, which will be developing into the mesoderm. So if such kind of mesoderm formation happens, then coelom will be known as the schistocoelom. Now, in case of the enterocoelus condition, so you can see that the endoderm will be folding to form the mesoderm, and if this mesoderm lines the cavity, it will be known as the enterocoelus coelom. So keep in mind, in case of the schistoscellus coelom, the mesoderm is formed from the ectoderm, which is escaping from the ectoderm. Cells escaping from the ectoderm is placing the cavity. Then in case of the enterocoelus, we can see the endoderm, which is some of the cells of the endoderm is escaping, and that will be lining the body cavity. So next one is the digestive system. There is a complete elongated digestive system which is starting from mouth to anus present in case of the Annelida. So you can see in this figure the mouth is there and the yellow colored one is nothing but the alimentary canal which will be ending in anus. So a complete tube-like digestive system is present in case of the Annelida. Now in case of the respiratory system. So respiratory system, there is no specialized respiratory system that is present in case of the Annelida. Instead, there we can see general body surface as the respiratory system. In some cases, gills were present. So you can see here, the surface, body surface of the Annelida are comparatively smoother. You can see slime glands are there which will be secreting slimy substance which actually provide the liquid medium or the moisture which is meant for the exchange of gases between the capillaries that is there inside the body wall. Okay, and in case of the nereis, we have seen parapodium. This parapodium, in addition to the locomotory structures, it is also acting as the respiratory structures. Through the surface of this parapodium also you can find the exchange of gases that is taking place. So respiratory system, there is no specialized. Instead, the skin is the respiratory system. In case of the nereis, parapodium is also acting as the respiratory system. So now coming to the circulatory system, we can see the circulatory system prominently here. It is mainly composed of the dorsal blood vessel and the ventral blood vessel. The dorsal blood vessels will be the large compared to the ventral one, and you can see the blood vessels which is connecting dorsal and the ventral blood vessels. Okay, so a circulatory system, prominent circulatory system is present in case of the Annelida, and you can see red colored blood, and the red color of the blood is due to the presence of hemoglobin or erythrochrorin. Okay, the body fluid pigments, hemoglobin or erythrochrorin, that is dissolved in the blood, and it is because of this particular pigments the blood is red in color. Excretory system is formed of the nephridia, paired nephridia on each segment. You can see the nephridia here, and the funnel shaped opening is within the body is known as the nephrostome, and the one which is opening outside at the junction or on the body wall etc. is known as the nephropore. Okay, so nephrostomes and the nephridiopore is there. In case of the nephridia, paired nephridia on each segment is present in case of the Annelida. So let us move to the nervous system and all. In case of Annelida, the nervous system is composed of a pair of cerebral ganglia. This cerebral ganglia will be acting as the brain, and a double nerve cord is originating from the brain or cerebral ganglia that is running backward with segmentally arranged ganglia. So you can see in this figure, this particular portion is the cerebral ganglia, and which will be running backward, and you can see segmentally arranged ganglia here. In the statement I have given double nerve cord, but in the figure you can see only a single nerve cord. The reason behind is the double nerve cord is actually covered with a membranous sheath, and that will be known as the perineurium. So it is due to the presence of perineurium, you cannot see the double nerve cord. Instead, it is seen as a single nerve cord. But keep in mind, actually it is formed of double nerve cord that is originating from the cerebral ganglia and running backward. Now, about sense organs. The tactile organs, which will be nothing but, you can see here, the peristomial pulp. So this is a structure. Then peristomial tentacle, so this portion, and peristomial cirri. These three pairs of structures are the tactile organ that is present, which is one of the sense organ. Now taste buds are there, which is chemosensory, and that will be mostly present in the mouth region or buccal cavity region. And statocyst, which is actually meant for balancing of the body. So this is a structure which is common structure which will be present in even in crustaceans also, the statocyst. So it is actually concerned with the balancing of the body of organism. Now you can see photoreceptor cells. So these are the photoreceptor cells. It will be formed of the epithelial cells and which will be supported by the retinal cells. So these photoreceptor cells are concerned with the light sensitive nature, and eyes, which are also concerned with the light sense. You can see the eyes here, 4 pairs of eyes in case of the Nereis. So eyes, and these are the receptor organs. So tactile organs which are formed of 3 pairs, nothing but prostomial tentacle, prostomial pulp, and peristomial cirri. Then the taste buds, then statocyst, and then photoreceptor cells, and then eyes, which are the sensory organs. So let us move to the reproduction. Annelids reproduce sexually and asexually. So in case of sexually reproducing organism, we can see 2 kinds of condition, that is monoecious condition or hermaphroditic condition, in which both sexes are present in single organism. Okay, so that condition is known as the hermaphroditic condition. You can see dioecious condition or unisexual condition also in case of the annelids. For example, in case of the Nereis. So in that case, sexes will be separate. 2 different individuals will be there, that are male and female. In case of the earthworm, we can see that both male and female sex organs are present in the same individual, that is hermaphroditic in nature. Earthworm is hermaphroditic in nature. Now, in case of the monoecious organism, the development is direct. So without any larval forms, the organism will be developing. But in case of the dioecious, the unisexual organism, the development is indirect, and this indirect development is characterized by the presence of free-swimming trochophore larvae. So you can see here the trochophore larva in this figure. Now, asexual reproduction is there in oligochaetes and the polychaetes. The asexual reproduction is characterized by budding. So one small individual will be developing or buds off from the parent organism and it will get separated. So that kind of budding is present in Annelida as part of the asexual reproduction. So far we have discussed the salient features of Annelida. So hope you enjoy the session. So I hope it's clear to you also. If you have any queries or any doubt that is to be cleared, you can just comment in the comment box. So that's the end of the session. Thank you for watching. So don't forget to subscribe my channel, Dr. R's Biology. Also click on the bell icon to receive notification on my new videos. Thank you so much.